We're live now. Good evening. My name's Councillor Michael Jones. I'm leader at Crawley Borough Council, and I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening, I should say, to another session of my Q&As. Obviously, can I just encourage everyone who's watching to get your questions in, and I'll try my best to answer them if I can. If I can begin before I move into the main bit, to just give my personal thanks to the people of Crawley for returning me and my Labour administration for a further year. The elections are over, and we're very much focused actually on delivering the best for Crawley, delivering the best for all our residents, and as I said, I'm very much looking forward to that. So my elves are busy at the moment getting the technology arranged so that I can start seeing your questions on chat, and that will be happening shortly. But just a few things I could run through while we wait, and of course get your questions in, can I just remind everyone, we've got some really beautiful parks in Crawley, but no barbecues in our parks, please. You know, as the dry, hot weather continues, we are reminding visitors to our parks that barbecues are not allowed. They're not allowed this time of the year. They're not allowed any time of the year. But thousands of people do flock to Crawley's beautiful parks and gardens every week. And we're saying that not because I'm some sort of miserable curmudgeon who just really wants to sort of, you know, drain every last joy out of life, but we have a lot of green spaces, woodlands and wildlife, and we need to preserve that as much as we can. And the recent weather has left all of the town's green spaces extremely dry and at a very high risk of wildfires. Now, having a barbecue on dry ground could be very dangerous. Just a small ember could cause a huge fire, and we've got a lot of large, mature, beautiful trees, vegetation, all that would be at risk. Now, this isn't just a theoretical thing. There's been scorched ground recently seen at Goffs Park and the 3G pitch in Broadfield. I was particularly unimpressed with what happened at the 3G pitch in Broadfield, and I just want people to exercise a bit of common if they can, please, quite honestly. The 3G pitch one is no excuse, no reason at all anyone should be starting fires there. And quite frankly, if I find out who it was, you know, they'll be having a conversation with the local police, quite honestly. But right, moving on. Let's just take another mention. Can I give a quick plug for water saving devices? If you're a tenant of Crawley Borough Council, I particularly want you to be listening to this. Water saving devices that have been fitted to council homes are estimated to be saving our tenants an average of about £300 a year on their bills. And it also is really incredibly useful in helping the council build new homes. More than 1,350 households in Crawley now are benefiting from this device. And it's saving a combined 90,000 litres of water a day, thanks to something called control flow, which regulates the flow of water and stabilises the water pressure, giving improved efficiency that also results in water being heated more efficiently as well. So all these things work out to be quite sustainable, very good for the environment. Now, we're working in partnership with a company called Synergist to roll out a programme to improve the water efficiency of our housing stock. So, as I said, if you're a tenant and Synergist, get in touch. I really would hugely encourage you to take advantage of the offer. It will save you money. Now, the retrofitting programme has made good progress, and what we've been able to save in water savings has actually been able to unlock 2 new developments with a total of 206 affordable dwellings in Bewbush and Southgate. That will mean that there's fewer people on Crawley's waiting list for housing that will be housed properly, and that's really good and that's really welcome. So just having a quick look at the chat, it does seem a little bit quiet at the moment. We must all be out of practice for asking questions, is all I can conclude. With the break for elections, it has been a little while since I've been in the hot seat, so to speak. But if you do have anything you want to ask, then please do. Otherwise, we will fill what time we have with me telling you things I want to tell you about, which is, no doubt quite helpful, and certainly I'll be very happy doing that. But if there's information that you want, then please do write in and keep it coming. One of the things I'd really like to mention is I get the great pleasure and privilege of being able to be invited to a lot of great things that are going on in Crawley. And one of the absolute highlights of recent weeks has been the Mill Pond playground opening. Now, recently, hundreds of children and families were welcomed into an exciting new era for play in Bewbush at the official opening of our brilliant new facilities down in Bewbush. As a local Bewbush neighbourhood councillor, I'm really delighted it's there. This is the former Adventure Playground and current playground near the Mill Pond in Bewbush, off Collins Road, I believe it is. Near Waterfield School, and so quite close to the bridge to Ifield West as well. That originally closed down just before COVID. So to have the grand opening with my colleagues, Councillor Chris Mullins and Councillor Bob Noyce and Councillor Sue Mullins joined us later. It was a really wonderful event. It was a great afternoon. It was during half term. All the kids were incredibly excited, so it was nice to be able to finally open the gates and let everyone in. There's quite a lot to go down there for: slides, climbing frames, seesaws, a roundabout, swings, all among the new equipment provided, all set on a safe soft play surface and in a fenced in space. There are musical consoles as well as seating and picnic tables for those wanting to sit out of the way, conserve their energy or have a bite to eat. In some ways, it's quite similar to the arrangements up at Cherry Lane, and I think for anyone in the borough, if you've got a young family, it will definitely be worth the odd occasional trip to enjoy. There's plenty there to occupy the young ones, and also it's right next, of course, to the Mill Pond, which of course is one of the real jewels in Crawley's crown. A beautiful walk and a marvellous gangway across the pond as well. So definitely, if you're looking for things to do in the borough and you have a family, that's all things to be done. This site is the result of consultation with the community and finding ways to replace equipment that was either at the end of the life or not appropriate for an unsupervised children's play park. And we're expecting it to become a real hub for the community, because we're collaborating as a council with a group called Inspire Castle. An agreement's been reached with the group to lease the building next to the playground, as it looks to engage a number of other services within the building. And I've been speaking to Kathy and Dan and everyone involved in Inspire Castle. They have some great plans for it all, and I wish everyone incredibly well. There's going to be a community garden, so anyone who's got green fingers in the area who's interested, I'm sure they'd love to hear from you and get involved. So let's break up me telling you what's going on with some questions. I believe we've had one from Tim. Drug dealers and addicts on the streets of Three Bridges. I'm not aware of specific examples, Tim. Sadly, drugs are more of an issue, well, across the country, but I'm aware of it within the borough as well, and it is unwelcome activity. Can I just encourage everyone listening that if you do see or hear anything related to drug activity, this does need to be reported to the police. They are the reports that help the police build up a picture. and get a keener idea of where the hotspots are. I appreciate that sometimes it's difficult to tell if the police have actually done things, because a lot of what they have to do is undercover, and it may not necessarily be immediate. If you don't, you clearly are welcome to contact me or any of the councillors. You can anyone can contact me on any subject, incidentally. My email address is michael.jones@crawley.gov.uk. Clearly, if there's any issues, I or Yasmin Khan, who is my Cabinet Member for Public Protection, will certainly pass that on to the police. But of course, a lot of residents could cut out the middleman entirely and contact the police. But clearly, if you feel there's an issue and it's not getting resolved, then obviously your councillors are there to assist, or at least be able to ask some of the questions. So I do regularly meet, and my Cabinet Member Yasmin regularly meets with the District Commander, who now is Chief Inspector Ben Starnes, because I believe public protection is so important, I have actually created a Cabinet Member directly responsible for public protection, so that can be concentrated on more. I do appreciate, after the recent fatal stabbing near Crawley Station, that there's a lot of concern about this, and I don't want to understate the importance that I hold this. But Tim, I hope that answers your question to a certain extent. I wasn't particularly aware of Three Bridges as a hotspot, but I suppose there are certainly parts that people could congregate. But if you want to send that through to me, as I said, probably best to email me rather than raise it in the chat. But thank you for your question, and I will certainly keep that in mind. We have a meeting, I think, coming up quite soon with Sussex Police, so I will of course mention that this has been raised here. Let's have still waiting for questions, so keep them coming if you've got them. Just a few other things to mention. My colleague Chris Mullins was recently out to the Horth, of all places, the Horth Theatre, because a new Changing Places toilet, which is the second in Crawley, has opened at the Horth, and there was a little opening ceremony for it. CBC was awarded a grant from the government, the Department for Levelling Up Housing and Communities, for the record, to install the Changing Places toilet. Now they're designed for people who cannot use easily standard accessible toilets, and I think that's really important, so that everyone can enjoy the facilities. The council has worked with the Horth operator at the moment, Parkwood Leisure, on the installation of these new amenities to enable more people to access our wonderful theatre and arts centre. There's a lot going on at the Horth. There's certainly more to come this summer and through the rest of the year as well. So that's definitely something to be welcomed. Now, I'm having another look because I don't want to avoid or delay answering any questions, but we haven't got any. As I said last time, if you do that to me, I start to conclude that everyone's really happy with Crawley and there aren't any issues or problems. And I'm fairly certain that there's quite a few people who wouldn't agree with me if I tried to claim that. So as I say, I'll keep an eye on that, but I'll keep talking until I get through my list. But can I give a big recommendation to local people if you would like to do something this weekend? I think a really wonderful and valuable event is Armed Forces Day, and this year, like every year, Crawley Borough Council, in conjunction with the armed forces, serving armed forces, and the veterans, have an Armed Forces Day event that takes place in the Memorial Gardens every year, and this year it will also be in the Memorial Gardens, and it will take place between 10 in the morning and 2 o'clock in the afternoon this Saturday, the 24th. And that begins with the Surrey and Sussex Bugle Pike Band leading a procession through the Memorial Gardens and the town centre from 10:30, and that's followed by entertainment on the bandstand from 11. When we raise the flag, after we've raised the flag, and so on and so forth, including live music from local singer Victoria Boltwood and the Crawley Millennium Concert Band, plus a performance from M&M Theatre School. And there'll be stands from all the military partners, including the Royal British Legion, Full Power, I believe that, the Crawley and Horsham Veterans Breakfast Club, the Sea Cadets, the Army Cadets and the Air Cadets. Plus, there'll be, I'm reliably informed, historical military vehicles on hand, a military expedition. There'll be a tombola to raise funds and refreshments. And all proceeds and refreshments will go to our Mayor Gilly Hart's charity, and also the Crawley and Horsham Veterans Breakfast Club. Now, the Crawley and Horsham Veterans Breakfast Club, fantastic club locally. They meet every week. I believe it's every Monday, but one of the elves might want to just double check that on their page. But they meet at St John's Church Hall in the town centre, next to obviously the old St John's Church, and that can be accessed off the Broadway. So the Armed Forces event, Armed Forces Day, is a day where we raise public awareness, and we respect the contribution made to our country by those who serve and have served in His Majesty's Armed Forces. And if you are interested in learning more about it, you can go to Armed Forces Day, all one word, .org.uk for more details. That's armedforcesday.org.uk. So just having another look. Can't see any more questions. Thanks to the elves for putting on the links as I mentioned things. But there's, as I said, there's plenty going on in Crawley. Again, in the Memorial Gardens, various dates in July and August. There's going to be bandstand summer sessions, a relaxing early afternoon break in Memorial Gardens with local entertainment on the bandstand, and that's always very nice to visit. On the 6th to the 9th of July, I shall be dusting off my picture of a sombrero, and but for those who recognise the reference, but basically there's, from the 6th to the 9th of July, the Continental Street Market is back in Queen Square and the Queensway, and there'll be stalls selling food from around the world and a selection of craft items. It's always a great success every time we do it, and I really enjoy going, and I know a lot people vote with their feet. A lot of people do as well, so just to put that on everyone's radar, that's coming up again, so that'll be nice. On the 9th of July, another plug, it's called Showtime again, ! And that's in Goffs Park at 1 o'clock for a few hours. The Friends of Goffs Park are having their summer fair, which will have music and dance, as well as food stalls and children's activities. So bring a rug and your picnic and enjoy some of the stalls. Again, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Goffs Park is again another one of the wonderful jewels in Crawley's crown. I'm looking forward to even more going on there in the future. But there's a real it's always wonderful to see the Friends of Goffs Park doing their work. They really care about Goffs Park, and rightly so. And it's another wonderful opportunity to showcase some of the great things that go on in the park. So yes, lovely. Right. Well, also in Goffs Park on the 12th to 16th of July is Circus Zaire, which is also in Goffs Park, as I said, which is fearless acrobats and daredevil stuntmen will guarantee maximum thrills by risking life and limb for your entertainment. It's a great description, that, isn't it? I should get a commission for that. But Also in Goffs Park, quite soon, and the precise date, hopefully the elves can can confirm to me and perhaps put up in the link, is it's Crawley Pride. So so that's, I think that's towards the end of July. I could be wrong on it. Oh, sorry, no, it's actually maybe it was July last. Anyway, it's in August. And hopefully the 19th of August. So hopefully there are tickets available. So the elves will put a link up for that, and that's probably one of the reasons why it wasn't on my list. We'll have another Q&A where I can mention it next. But it doesn't hurt, does it? Let's give it a plug now so people can get their tickets in. And I wish everyone involved with the Pride event organising it great success. So I'm just looking at we just don't seem to have anyone asking any questions. It must be this hot weather either draining the life out of people, or everyone's gone out for a nice walk, quite rightly, around our beautiful parks and green spaces, which Crawley has a good deal. So actually, one thing I should say, and I do apologise because it's usually my policy to ask this right at the beginning of the of when I start talking, but I did actually have an advanced question from Priscilla, I believe, and I do always like to prioritise that. So if everyone will forgive me, for a slight lapse. Priscilla asks, why does West Green have two community offices? We also need the West Green Forum to be revived. Priscilla, I think specifically West Green has one community development officer that's assigned to it, and that's Vicky, who you would be best placed to contact, and she's a community development officer for West Green. In answer to your question, I'm very much a great believer in the forums, and we've tried to launch a forum in the past after the original one folded, but unfortunately, although there's been some efforts, there hasn't been much demand from enough residents, and indeed these things, it's important that they're led by the residents themselves rather than sort of some kind of council satellite. I mean, obviously our officers will be very happy to assist, but these forums do have to be run by and run for the residents of the neighbourhood, so they can feed back to the council and the local organisations. And as I said, we do have some, but not every neighbourhood has a forum. The ones I can think of at the moment, Tilgate, Three Bridges, Talk Broadfield, they have very active forums. At Pound Hill North Residents Association, so it's not quite all of Pound Hill either, but it's a section of Pound Hill. They are running, but they are run by a relatively small number of very committed members, and they're done on a voluntary basis. Now, the other neighbourhood forums, including West Green, are inactive, and I think at the moment one of the issues we've got is because of a lack of volunteers. But if you do want to change that for your area, and if you want to change it for West Green, for example, email community development, all one word, at crawley.gov.uk, and I know my community development team at Crawley Borough Council will be really keen to help you. I mean, we do try as a council to reach out to members in a huge range of ways, and the traditional sort of public meeting held at whatever interval in person, it suffered with COVID, and I'm afraid it hasn't recovered as well as any of us might like. But we're not. There's no prohibition. If people want to do this, and the council will certainly help support it. But I do think we have an issue. But if there is anyone listening, or anyone who hears this broadcast on Facebook or anywhere after the event, then not Facebook on Facebook or not Twitter, YouTube. Yes, I'm down with all the social media outlets. Honest, yes. So if you can, yes. uh, if you can get in touch, then particularly if there's a group of people within your neighbourhood who are interested and just don't really know how to start it out, or maybe would like a bit of help, or maybe would even like some advice on how to access facilities and all to hold the meetings. And we'll, as I said, the community development team is there and would be really happy to help. But it does require a little bit from the grassroots. I know some people might say it's a bit chicken and egg, but we have to have the people there who are prepared to take it forward, because otherwise having the meeting and not having many people turn up, it doesn't work that well. So I hope that answers your question, Priscilla. If there are any specific issues in West Green, of course you've got the ward councillors, and also if it's to do with a particular service area, you can either contact myself or the cabinet member responsible as well. So, and that obviously applies to everyone. So I'm having another look. No, it's very quiet today. Are we? There's a big red sign saying live on my on my screen. So I'm fairly certain that we are broadcasting. So as I said, it must be this culture of contentment that I remember Tony Blair talking about 25 years ago. There we are. Good. Right. Well, let's move on now to just another mention. Of course, the cost of living crisis hasn't really eased as far as I can see. In fact, with inflation and particularly food inflation, it's not got much better at all. But help is available. All of the available support's in one place to make it easy to find. If you go to crawley.gov.uk/money worries, we've got a website that's designed to actually help give advice on money saving, sources of help and advice, and I would recommend that. Also, I suppose there's the obligatory plug for e-billing. If you sign up now on My Crawley, which is our online account for everything to do with the council, you can sign up to that. You can receive your bills via email. It's faster, saves on printing and postage costs. It also reduces the use of paper and envelopes, and you can access that at my.crawley.gov.uk. You can register for e-billing services on a whole range of things, including council tax, business rates, allotments, green bin, leasehold services, premises licences, taxi licences and Lifeline. So please help us by signing up to e-billing and help yourself actually, rather than trying to hunt down a year's worth of slips if you've got to get hold of them for whatever reason. Sometimes having a record of everything in one place, one electronic place, can be very good. And let's just have one run through telephone numbers before I start talking about anything else. If you want to contact, you can contact me. The best way to do that is to email me on michael.jones@crawley.gov.uk. If you'd rather cut out the middleman, as I said earlier on, then you can contact the Crawley Borough Council directly. If you need to speak to the service directly, you'll go through to the switchboard, which is 01293 438 000. That's 01293 438 000. And our contact centre will put you through to the right people. If you're a tenant and you have an issue with repairs or anything like that, you can always call Crawley Repairs Team on 01293 438 111. If there's any issues to do with you're concerned with in terms of any sort of antisocial behaviour or anything like that that's concerning you, you could try our community wardens on 07884 492 324. But of course, if a serious crime or anything to do with crime and antisocial behaviour is going on in any part of the borough, then I would strongly advise that you call Sussex Police. If it's non-urgent, it's 101. But of course, if it is an emergency or it is something urgent, then always call 999. So no questions at the moment. So it might be quite a relatively brief Q&A today. Well, it'll have to be if I don't get too many Q&As, but there's not enough Qs to give the As. But let's talk about a few of the things I've been up to recently, aside from obviously it's the beginning of another council year. I've refreshed my cabinet, so Shahzad Malik and Sandra Buck, who were my cabinet members for resources and housing, have stood down from the council, and I wish them well. Gurinder Jans has also stood down from the cabinet, and I wish him well too, and I thank everyone for their service. And I will. I have appointed new cabinet members, and that is Ian Irvine for housing, Tahira Rana for resources, and Bob Noyce for environment, sustainability and climate change. So there's lots to be getting on with, and I look forward to that. I've got a question here from Helena. Right. The youth centre in Broadfield, I think that you're referring to, Helena, is Creasy's Drive. And although yes, that has been closed, a large reason for that was to do with the fact that it was the equipment there was getting extremely old, and also the actual youth centre itself, the play centre was or playground, was by far the least used of all the playgrounds in Crawley at the time, and that's just a fact. That's what happened. Now we are committed to do something to recreate provision within Broadfield on a similar scale to what was at Creasy's Drive. And I know I went down with the Broadfield councillors at Broadfield, Ian Irvine and Kieran Khan, to look at some potential areas, and we're quite excited about that, and that will be good when it comes forward. But I'm going to have to say to people, watch this space in Broadfield, but that's certainly on the agenda, and we want to deliver that. All I'm going to say about the BMX park in the woods that you refer to is that it wasn't there legally, and it was dangerous, and there are BMX facilities elsewhere in the borough, in Southgate Playing Fields and also Cherry Lane, and that's the answer to your question. Okay, so just in terms of visits I have been on, I was very pleased and thrilled because the Posh Club, which is quite an institution in Crawley now, run by Annie and her committed team down at Broadfield Community Centre, they had to have a bit of a pause in operations for a few months, but I'm delighted to say they're back in action now. This is a club for senior citizens in Crawley who are able to go along, have a lovely cream tea, meet friends, get live music entertainment and have a great time. There's also a glass of champagne if you so partake. And it was lovely because was it last week or the week before now? I think it was last week. They had their first one back, and that was really, really very wonderful to see. It was lovely to see Annie, lovely to see the team, and everyone had a great time. And that's starting again. I believe it's fortnightly, I wish the Posh Club huge amount of success. As I said, to my mind, they are nothing short of an institution in Crawley now. They really do some fantastic work. If you've not been down to see, I think it's Chinese Elvis, or some of the great entertainment they have, and some wonderful music and dance when we were there, and everyone had a great time. also today, in fact, I had the pleasure to go again to Broadfield. There's a lot going on there to the 75th anniversary event run by Diverse Crawley to commemorate the Windrush, the arrival of the Emperor Windrush. Um, uh, uh, Residents who came and helped rebuild the country after the war. So, I mean, 75th anniversary. I mean, even the youngest of the people who are on that ship will be really old now. But everyone will know from the news that unfortunately um, there was some legacy because some of the immigration issues weren't resolved, and the government a few years ago was quite heavy-handed with it. But saying that, I think it was a wonderful event. Thank you to Irma in particular and Marilyn and everyone at Diverse Crawley who arranged that. And the mayor was there, Julie Hart, myself, Sue Mullins, and it was a really, really nice, touching event. So thank you for that. Also, again, I suppose it's a special Broadfield themed question and answer session today. Is that Broadfield Youth and Community Centre had its had a big arts festival at the last weekend, and they also assisted with Creative Playground led on the Sunday, but the community centre led on the Saturday, and there was some really lovely events, and it was great, and it was really good to see so much of the community down. It was lovely weather, and apart from a colossal downpour for about 2 minutes at one point, but it was really excellent. And again, it's so nice to see the community, and there's a lot of heart in Broadfield. There really is, and it's I represent part of the neighbourhood myself, so it's always a great pleasure to go down to. So just having a quick look at the chat. Right. I don't think there's really anything else I need to add to what I've said about the about the area around Broadfield Kennels that you're raising, Helena. So I think the final thing in terms of visits was the new. Another thing that I had great pleasure in visiting recently was an open day to showcase the wonderful new tennis courts that we've had delivered in conjunction with the Lawn Tennis Association in three of our major courts in Crawley, West Green, Maiden Bower and Southgate playing fields. Really was bowled over when I saw it. And an annual membership for up to 5 people in the household is I think Crawley Wellbeing told me it's about 86p a week or something like that. It's very low in comparison. So fantastic value. I mean, I would, without hesitation, say these were tournament level courts here. Championship level. They're that good. I mean, I'm no expert, and no doubt some tennis expert will write in and say, oh no, it's got to have X, Y, and Z before it's that. But so it impressed me. It's always lovely to go down to West Green Park as well. It was quite a day. There was a huge number of people there, lots of people, young and old, lots of young, very young tennis players, and it was a real pleasure to see it all pan out. So that was good. Well. We'll give everyone another couple of minutes if there are any other questions, but we're not getting overwhelmed with them. No, speak now or wait at least another month. Of course, you don't have to wait another month. You can always contact the council. As I said, I'll go through the contact numbers again in a minute, but you can always contact me, michael.jones@crawley.gov.uk. Even if I don't know the answer, I'm sure I'll be able to find out someone who does. Please remember, though, as much as I will sympathise if you write to me and say there's an issue with potholes on your road or parking, unfortunately, well, or fortunately, depending on your point of view, anything to do with highways is is the responsibility and under the control of West Sussex County Council. I may have very strong views on their performance about it or otherwise, or what's being done, but unfortunately, I have no sway or influence over that. So do bear that in mind. But there is a portal you can report your issues to. I believe it's Love West Sussex app or something. I'm hoping maybe one of the elves will pop. Yeah, they have. They almost knew where I was going with that. So that's their magical powers at work, no doubt. So I think if you want to report anything, that's the best and most direct way of doing it. So again, right. Craig Buckingham. Craig, in answer to your question, as I said, there is the BMX track is there illegally, and it's on private property that shouldn't be accessed. So that is the long and short of it. It's not staying. And as I said, there is adequate facility elsewhere in the borough. If the groups that do use BMX or want something more locally, want to engage with the council, we will look into what we can do. But it's got to be safe, and it's got to be insured. And at the moment, it is not. And that is a real issue, not just for the individuals concerned. And we know there have been injuries because the Buckham Park Rangers are telling us that they're having people sort of present themselves injured. But also, if anything serious happened, then it would be the council's responsibility. And I'm afraid I don't want that on my conscience, that if someone is seriously injured or hurt or even killed. So that is why we have the skate parks or the BMX tracks in other parts of the borough, because they are designed to actually deliver the enjoyment that the users want, but in a way that covers things for everyone. Right. So I'm going to go and through the numbers once more, which is Crawley Borough Council. If you want to speak to anyone, it's 01293 438 000. The Crawley Repairs Team, which is 01293 438 111 if you're a tenant. So the Crawley Repairs Team, for example, is for things to do with council housing. So if you've got something else that needs repairing, please go through the main switchboard. Community wardens can be contacted on 07884 492 324. And of course, if you do have an issue with crime and antisocial behaviour, you've got Sussex Police on 101 if it's non-urgent, or 999. So I think on that basis, we've been going now for nearly 45 minutes, but we do appear to have reached the end of questions for the time being. So can I just thank everyone again for joining in, if you have, if you have any thoughts or would like anything covered in future editions, then you're very welcome to drop me a line, make suggestions. We can make it in the chat if you like, but we're always open-minded. Yes, and so on behalf of myself and all the elves and magical folk at Crawley Borough Council, I'd like to thank everyone for listening, and please be in touch if you have any issues. We are committed to serve you. I'm very proud of the council's record. I think we do a good job. We've got even more to come, and it's going to be a challenging year. What's nice now is, now the elections are out of the way for another year, we can actually get on with the work. Now the discussions have ceased on that level. We can start again talking about everything that's needed to make Crawley an even better place to live, work and enjoy. So thanks again.